All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're basically going to call this video what I ate as a vegan in Greece. And some of these food items are going to be shocking. I mean, some of you have probably never tried some of the weird shit that I ate over there. It was difficult for me because obviously veganism isn't very big in Greece, all right? Like, even at the restaurants, I didn't see a lot of vegan options. I don't think I saw any vegan restaurants or anything like specifically geared towards vegans or vegetarians. So it was really hard for me as a vegan to be immersed in this culture where, meat and dairy is such a staple in their diet. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I ate a bunch of cinnamon Altoids yesterday, and I kind of like burned the left side of my tongue. So if I sound like my tongue is messed up or something, it's because it hurts. I got a blister from all the cinnamon. I overdo everything, guys. And last night I was door dashing, not door dashing. I was actually doing Uber Eats. I made like $200 in 5 hours last night, but it was in the rain, right? That's probably why I made so much money, because nobody was driving. The rain was just, it was crazy. It was dangerous too, but I stayed out till like, I don't know, 11 o'clock, nearly midnight. So I kind of slept in today, and wanted to catch up with you guys on another video. So the food in Greece. All right. I didn't have exactly any bad meals while I was there. Okay, everything that I did eat, even if it was a little weird or not really, well, there were a couple of things that I totally was not down with, that I thought was absolutely disgusting. But as far as meals, like going out to eat with people, going to different restaurants, I didn't really have a bad meal there. Now, I had a lot of Greek food. A couple of nights we had pizza. I guess pizza is actually pretty big in Greece. But as far as the staple diet over there, just being a vegan myself, it was kind of difficult. Just having to consume the meat and dairy products. So I did eat meat. I ate lamb. I ate all kinds of seafood. I had cheeses. And I tried to keep it in moderation. But again, the Greeks too, they just keep feeding you, right? When you go over to somebody's house and you're like a guest at their house. Like, I remember I had a plate of patsitsu, and it was huge, like a huge piece. It's basically like a lasagna, but I think it's like a white sauce with hamburger meat in it. But the patsitsu, it was good, but it was this huge piece, and I finished the whole thing. And what did the host do? They grabbed my plate and put another huge piece. I only finished half of it. But I mean, they feed you like an ungodly amount of food. So that was and sometimes it's a little annoying because they're kind of pushy about it. They'll really try to, I guess they want you to be happy, or they want to show their hospitality, but they get really pushy. They're like, no, eat more, eat more. That's what my cousin always says, eat more. It was a lot of food sometimes, a lot of food. But that being said, I didn't really have a bad meal there. Now, there were some food items that were absolutely disgusting, okay? I'll save that towards the end. And the reason we're making this video as a separate video is because I completely forgot to talk about the food on my last video. I said I was going to do it too, but the video was like an hour long, so I just didn't have time to talk about it. So that's why we're devoting a whole video just to the food. Let me mention the fast too. So the Holy Week fast was pretty strict, especially on certain days like Wednesdays and Friday. I think Wednesday through Saturday, the fast was, we were literally eating bread, domata, or with tomato, domata in Greek, and oranges for dinner, right? Bread, tomatoes, and oranges for dinner. maybe some pistachios or some peanuts. I mean, that would have been the dinner. So it was a very strict, fasting in the biblical sense of the word, not obviously restricting calories completely, like the modern maybe definition of fasting or intermittent fasting. So that's what we would eat sometimes throughout the day during Holy Week, was basically just bread. Now, the first couple of days I was there, I don't know if the fast just wasn't as strict. Well, we actually got there before Holy Week. I got there on a Saturday, so we had 2 days before Holy Week. The first thing that I was fed at the monastery was like this very strange looking soup. It was basically greens or maybe spinach with pieces of calamari in it, and it was served cold. So I'm looking at it. It had like a lot of oil in it too, and it looked really weird. Greens with calamari. I mean, just imagine somebody puts this in front of you, and it's cold. It's not even hot. But it was actually pretty damn good. I ate, I think, 2 bowls of it. And, the calamari is good. It has been so long since I've had calamari. And I did enjoy it. It wasn't fried. I did have fried calamari later on the Saturday before I left. But, the first day I got there, the calamari green soup, it was actually pretty good. It was really good. Now, I don't know if this is everywhere in Greece, but at the monastery, sometimes they would cook or saute some kind of seasoning or flavoring and I don't know how to explain it other than it was like lemon and dill. I think that's what it was, but the combination didn't agree with me. I just kept... I don't know, I would smell it and it would just completely put me off. And a couple of times I smelled it in the food. They put it in the rice. It really, that's what I think it was. I think it was lemon and dill or some other kind of herb. And the lemon being heated up and with the dill, I did not like it at all. So a couple of times I think the rice kind of smelled like that. And I got a headache one morning because I ate so many pistachios the night before. Pistachios with all the fats, they can give you like really severe migraines, or at least they do for me. So I had a severe migraine. I think this was like Wednesday night going into Holy Thursday. And I think we took communion on Holy Thursday. So I was like basically late for the service, and I had to take like a bunch of Tylenol, and I ate a banana. It's actually not Tylenol. It's this stuff called Depon. It's basically acetaminophen. It's their version of acetaminophen. But I took a bunch of this because my headache was so bad I couldn't even serve on the altar. I couldn't even go to the service. And they kept coming in my room trying to wake me up. My bunkie Strato kept trying to wake me up. I was like, I need some medicine. I'm so sick, guys. I'm so sick. So anyways, I took this medication, ate a banana, half of a banana. So I figured I wouldn't be able to take communion because I hadn't been fasting that morning. But the Archbishop was merciful and allowed me to take Holy Communion on Holy Thursday. But so, those were a couple of bad experiences with the food. But everything else was absolutely delicious. Except for, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff I ate on Pascha. But the food was delicious, right? The feta cheese, we went to a fresh feta, like a feta cheese factory where they make it there. So the feta cheese was super fresh. One thing about the Greek salads, which we're on a kick here at my place, so we can't get enough of this. The Greek salads, they don't have lettuce in them when you go to Greece. Like here in America, if you buy a Greek salad, there's going to be lots of leafy greens in it. In Greece, it's not like that. So you basically have tomatoes, onions, green pepper, olives. What else am I missing? And a big slab of feta cheese on top. Cucumbers, right? So there's no lettuce in the salad. But they have lettuce salad, which is basically chopped up, like shredded lettuce, like very finely cut lettuce with some sort of sauce, and so they serve that. That was served to me a couple of times, actually in Megra with Bishop Damascanos and the monk Matthias. So here, now that I'm back in America, I'm eating my Greek salads without lettuce because it's, you've got all those tomatoes and, it's just so juicy. It's so wonderful when there's no lettuce in the Greek salads. But some of the other stuff that I ate that was definitely not vegan was souvlaki. We had kebab. Kebab and souvlaki are very similar. It's basically meat on a stick. It's either pork, chicken. I think the kebab is ground beef on a stick. If you go to like a Greek festival or something, they most definitely will have souvlaki. The gyros. Gyros, I think is how you would pronounce it. Gyros. I call them gyros over here, but gyros. They're basically like almost like little tacos, but it's pita bread. But anyway, every single gyro that I had was just, it was so good. And they put French fries, like maybe 2 or 3 French fries in the gyro. Maybe they'll serve French fries on the side, but they put a couple of them in the gyro, so you've got some potatoes in this. But it's usually beef with some veggies, tomatoes, onions, basically like a Greek salad with some beef and what kind of sauce is it? I forget what the sauce is called, but it's like a white little sauce on it. It's so good. It's delicious with a couple of French fries. I want another gyro. But I'd like a vegan gyro. Actually, I think I made some vegan gyros with vegan meatballs. I chopped those up and I bought some pita bread and threw a Greek salad on top of it. It was all right, but it wasn't like in Greece. But the souvlaki was good. I was actually kind of addicted to the souvlaki. It was just it was so good. Just the way they cook with olive oil. Like the French fries are, I guess, fried in olive oil. So they taste much healthier and they feel much healthier to eat than the American French fries, which is, who knows what they put in that. Everything's a little bit less salty. They let you salt your own food, which I can appreciate because I'm trying to watch my sodium intake because I'm completely addicted to salt, so I'm really trying to cut back on that. So I didn't add a lot of salt to my food. I had a thought here. The gyros, the souvlaki. I don't know. It'll come to me. But every restaurant you go to, there's the food in Greece is very, very delicious. It's very savory, even though it's meat and dairy products. So if you're a vegan and you're planning on going to Greece, or you have, maybe a dream to go to Greece, just be prepared for the fact that there's not a lot of vegan options. I went to many restaurants and I went to people's houses, people's apartments. Veganism is not a thing in Greece. It really isn't. At least on a mainstream scale. Maybe there's some vegans in Greece, but we did eat a lot of fruit. We ate oranges like at the monastery. Another kind of cool thing that they would make, like a dessert almost, is orange or lemon rinds, like the skins and stuff from the oranges and the lemons. And they would somehow boil them for a long time, maybe like an hour or two. And I don't know exactly what they do, but it's like the sugar almost, they kind of turn into a gel. Like the rinds, they almost turn to like a gummy. So it's edible. You can eat it, and they add sugar to it while they're boiling it. But very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. These, just using the rind. They use everything. That's the other thing about Greece too. They do not waste food. Right? Like if they're making a lamb, they cook it all. They cook the tail and the head, and somebody's eating those eyeballs. So they do not waste any food in Greece. And when I was at the monastery, all the leftover food that would have been scraped into the trash can, it all went to the animals and the wild dogs outside the walls of the monastery that they fed. So maybe that's why the wild dogs are so prevalent, because the Greeks feed them and they're able to survive. But yeah, those lemon rinds, those orange, orange peel things that were boiled, delicious. The way that they're made, you probably wouldn't want to like actively think about it when you're eating, because a lot of the times they're using rinds that, like let's say 10 people sat at a table and we're eating oranges like right off of the skin. That doesn't get thrown in the trash. They turn that into a dessert. So as an American, some of the stuff seemed a little not as sanitary, like if the health department, let's say it was a restaurant that was doing some of these things and the health department got word, they would definitely shut the restaurant down here in America. But in Greece, it's like completely normal. Like when you eat a piece of bread, 4 or 5 different people touch that bread. They don't pass you the entire bowl down the table. Somebody grabs a piece with their fingers and passes it to the next person, and then like 4 or 5 people later, the bread gets to your plate. I saw people kind of digging their bare hands in, like when they were trying to separate the lamb, they were like just using their bare hands. So you got to kind of get over this kind of thing. And they eat food that's like sometimes, like they'll eat unrefrigerated meat that's been out for 2 or 3 days. It's a thing. I didn't. After about 24 hours, I was thinking the lamb was starting to turn. So I did not partake in any more lamb after Pascha. But by the time I ate the lamb on Pascha, right, because on Holy Saturday, we started the fire and started cooking the lamb. And we cooked everything. We had the whole freaking lamb in a big, pan with potatoes and carrots. I mean, you could see everything, the eyeballs. It was a little gruesome, especially, for me as a vegan. By the time I ate the lamb had already been cooked. It had finished cooking probably 7 o'clock that night. I didn't start eating the lamb, and it was unrefrigerated all night. I didn't start eating it. None of us started eating it until, Easter dinner or Easter lunch. Probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. So, I mean, that was almost like, it was probably a 16, 17, 18 hour period of this meat being unrefrigerated. But nobody got sick. And I ate some pretty healthy portions of the ribs. The Theako Kallistos, the deacon. I'm pretty sure Theako translates kind of into deacon. Or Theako. He... at one point, grabs the head, rips open the jaw, takes some of the meat from the cheeks. I think he ate the tongue. He ate the eyeballs. He ate the tail. I mean, it was like, it was crazy. As an American, but also, mostly on a vegan diet, it was almost like barbaric watching the entire animal be consumed like this. But I think if you are going to eat animals, right, you may as well eat the whole damn thing and not waste, 1 ounce of the flesh. That would probably be the right thing to do. But it was, I don't know. It's hard to eat something that's like looking you in the eye. That's why I don't like to go to grocery stores and, or at Red Lobster or whatever and pick my own lobster. I can't eat something that is looking at me in the eye. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my conscience. But I do think they eat a little bit too much meat. They definitely eat way too much bread and cheese. I'm not a big breakfast eater, but I would get every morning. They knew I wasn't a breakfast eater because I didn't eat breakfast every morning. Somebody would ask me, do you want breakfast? Do you want breakfast? Here, have some bread, have some cheese. Sometimes they'd have a plate already laid out for me, and I have to be like, ohi efaristopoli, no thank you. Thank you very much, but no, ohi. So I don't know how these people ate so much, I mean, eating bread and cheese for breakfast and then eating lunch. But the Greeks, they don't eat dinner. They don't really eat their supper until like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or midnight. All right, that's the Greek routine is to kind of get up early in the morning. They do some chores or they go to work. They do a little work, whatever. And then about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock p.m., everybody goes home and takes a nap. Some of the stores even close for like a couple hours and then they reopen at 4. So everybody goes home, they take naps, they go to sleep. And then the Greeks, they don't eat dinner until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And they're eating, pretty heavy dinners. Like when we went out to for pasta, we went to Amphissa to visit Drusilla, or as you guys know, Drusi's cousins. And a couple of them were my age and they spoke English, so it was good to have some people to conversate with over dinner. But we went to dinner at like 10 o'clock at night when we were in Amphissa, and which is deep in the mountains, kind of on the way to Delphi. It's kind of a little excursion off of the trail or the road to Delphi, but we wanted to visit, Drusilla's cousins, and we ate really, really late. I mean, we sat down at the restaurant at 10 o'clock. We probably didn't start eating till 11. And there were tons of people there. And it was like a Wednesday night or something, maybe a Tuesday night. So the Greeks, they eat dinner very, very late. When I was at the monastery, we would eat dinner sometimes at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, depending on how long the services were that evening. But yeah, so let's talk about Pascha and the very, very weird shit that I was basically forced to eat, but I didn't eat much of it, I'm telling you. So the lamb, obviously, the ribs of the lamb are good. The normal pieces of the lamb are pretty good. And when we broke the fast at like 4 o'clock in the morning on, basically we had service on Holy Saturday from 11:30 into the wee hours of the morning on Pascha on Sunday. So we broke the fast on Sunday at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I was dead tired, but we had like a little lamb soup. There was like, 150 parishioners there, all kind of crammed in this kitchen, and everybody was eating, and we got to drink beer again, and it was a lot of fun. But the next day, and they woke us up. They woke us all up at like 10 o'clock. We went to bed at 5 or 6. They woke us up at 10 and wanted to get set up for Easter dinner. Easter lunch, whatever you would call it. Because they had some people that came over. And so anyways, we got up at 10. We didn't even eat till 1. They're trying to make me eat bread and cheese till 1 o'clock when we're actually supposed to eat. Oh man, if I had eaten all the bread and cheese, I wouldn't have had any room for the lamb. But I ate the lamb, the normal pieces of the lamb. I let some of the others eat the weird stuff. I mean, there were some really weird parts of that lamb that I don't think I had the stomach for. But the lamb was good, even though it was unrefrigerated and it was served kind of like it was cold by the time we ate it. It was pretty good. I have lamb once a year, which is usually during Pascha, only if it's offered to me. Like last year, we went to somebody's house here in Norfolk, or in Virginia Beach, actually, and they served lamb, so I had a few pieces of lamb. So I did eat the lamb, right? I feel bad about eating the lamb. I'm praying to God for forgiveness for eating the lamb, but, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, or when in Greece, do as the Greeks do. Do as the Hellenistic people do. So the weirdest, grossest, vile food that I ate was something called kokoretsi. And when I explain what kokoretsi is, you might want to take a seat, right? Because this is almost unspeakable what I'm about to tell you. The kokoretsi is liver. I guess the liver of a lamb or maybe a cow. I don't really know. But it's the liver. And not only that, it's wrapped up in the intestines. I've never eaten eaten intestine in my entire life. Never eaten liver either. But I mean, just think about eating intestines. Oh, so I saw it, on the plate in the middle of the table. I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. What is that? They were like, it's kokoretsi. They didn't exactly tell me what it was. But somebody just served it to me. They just put it on my plate. They're like, oh, you have to try the kokoretsi. And so I'm looking at it, and as I'm taking a closer inspection, I'm like, yes, this looks really weird. I'm not sure what this is. This doesn't look like any meat I've ever put in my mouth. And so I'm cutting it open, and I take my first bite of the inside, all right, which was the liver. And I'm telling you, the liver tasted like gamey, but like almost like blood. That's how I would describe it. The liver, and it was cold. Okay, the thing was cold. Right, this meat had been unrefrigerated and cooked the day before, so it was served cold. And they don't have microwaves or anything at the monastery. And I think the Greeks eat a lot of unrefrigerated cold meat. I think it's just like a thing. And it's probably how they ate meat in ancient times, right? They didn't have ways to refrigerate meat. They probably cooked something, and the town or the village was eating on it for a week later, right? Unrefrigerated. But so I slice in. I take a little bite of what apparently was the liver, and it tasted really gamey, but it tasted like blood. It tasted like venison, but it had this really weird blood aftertaste. I did not enjoy it. And so I'm kind of pretending like, oh yeah, it's okay. Like, I don't want to be rude. Somebody at the table had cooked it, and they've been so good to me in so many other ways, other than making me eat all of this weird shit I would never eat in America. They were good to me, very good to me. So I'm trying not to be rude, trying to be polite, because I'm a polite guy. I don't like to, offend people on purpose. Not all the time. And so I think I ate like 3 pieces and I couldn't finish it. I did try somebody said, you have to try the crust or, the intestines. So I tried a piece of the liver with the intestines. I think I spit that shit out into a napkin. It was, I couldn't do it, guys. I really couldn't do it. And, I think to myself now, if it had been served warm, because when we were in Athens, I saw like big, long, because the kokoretsi, it's like, I don't know exactly how they make it. They mash a bunch of liver together and then they just wrap intestines around and then they like slice it, almost like a meatloaf or something, and so I saw in Athens, it was like being cooked over a fire and served, hot to people. And it's kind of a seasonal thing. It's like they specifically make it for Pascha, I believe. That's my understanding. So after Pascha, I didn't see much kokoretsi anywhere. But when we went to Athens on Monday, the day after Pascha, they were still making kokoretsi. If it had been served to me warm, maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. Maybe not. But it was served to me cold, and I just did not like it. It grossed me out, and then they tried to get me to eat like a second piece. I sort of like covered it up, the first piece, with a napkin, and I don't know, threw it in the trash or something. And, I guess they thought I liked it. So they tried to get me to eat a second piece. I actually have a picture. I'm going to maybe use it as the thumbnail here. But it's a picture of me taking a bite of the kokoretsi, and it's a classic picture. So now, because I've learned a few words, den is like don't, and troo is like I eat, They have so many different words for eat. They have faye, a lot of words for eat, but for I eat, I think it's troo. And so now I can say den troo kokoretsi. Den troo kokoretsi. Efaristopoli, but ohi. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if it's served to me warm next year, maybe I'll try it again. But anyway, so that's what I ate in Greece as a vegan. I think I've pretty much covered everything. If I think of anything else extreme, I will definitely make a video about it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what's the weirdest shit you've ever eaten in your entire life. And with that, as always, until next time, I'll see you guys on the next video.